To make the earrings, you'll need a matching set of briolettes, and these are faceted garnet briolettes. They're 10 millimeters by 8 millimeters, and they're top drilled, which means they're drilled through the top this way. And then you'll need some gold seed beads. These gold seed beads are size 11/0. For wire, we're using 26 gauge gold wire. We've got 2 gold earring hooks here, and we're going to use round nose pliers and wire cutters. To make the earrings, the first thing we want to do is cut a piece of the 26 gauge wire about 3 inches long, or 3.5 inches. And we want to make sure that this wire goes through these briolettes. The faceted gemstone briolettes are very fine, and often the hole is very small. That's why we're using 26 gauge, which is a finer wire. And you just want to test, if I can find the hole there, to make sure that the briolette fits on the wire. I'm going to test them both to make sure that they work on the wire, and they do. And what we want to do is feed the wire through the briolette, through that top drill in the briolette, and then we want to make a crisscross. I'm going to go to the center of the wire here, and I'm going to bend one side up and over. It's following the line of the briolette, and I'm going to take the other side and pull it over. I'm doing this gently because I don't want to break the briolette. Like I said, these are very delicate and finely drilled. I've got a nice little triangle there at the top. Then I want to take one piece of the wire and make it go straight up. And then this other piece of wire, I'm going to wrap around that first piece of wire. And to do that, I'm going to use my round nose pliers. I'm going to grasp that triangle that we made across there. And then I'm going to pull this tail around the neck there that we just pulled out 2 times. Like that. And then I want to take my wire cutters and trim that piece off. I'm just going to hold onto that tail, trim that off, and there we have our briolette hanging there with our little wraps around it. I'm just going to press the end of that wrap down. And next what we want to do is feed some seed beads onto this wire. These are our tiny little size 11/0 seed beads, and I'm going to pour a couple into my palm of my hand. I want to feed 8 of these beads onto the wire. And a trick we like to do is to pour these seed beads into the palm of the hand and then tip the beads onto the wire like that. It's easier than trying to pick them up individually and put them on the wire because they're so small. It also makes it easier to count. I can see I've got 4, 5, 6, that one got away, 7, and 8. That's how many we want. So I'm going to slide all of those down, and what we're going to do is bend the wire with all those beads on it into a loop. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle yet. We're going to shape it more when we're done, but I'm bringing it around so that it meets up with the first loops that we just made, those loops we just finished. And I'm just going to hold that so there's not a lot of slack in the wire, and I'm going to take this tail and wrap it around the wraps we just made. I'm going to do 2 wraps like that, and then I'm going to trim like we did before. Make sure you don't cut the project, and cut that little tail off. And now we've got a little misshapen beaded section on the top, but what we can do is use the round nose pliers like a mandrel and push the beads, this little beaded loop, down onto the pliers, and it will make it round for us. See how that does? It's kind of magic. So it turns it into a rounder shape. We have 4 beads on one side and 4 on the other. We're going to slide the earring wire right in between there so that we have 4 beads on one side and 4 on the other, and then use the round nose pliers to close that earring wire. That is it. Gorgeous. Do that again. Got another 3-inch piece of wire. I'm going to feed on my briolette, And then I'm going to make that little crisscross at the top, like that. I'm going to choose one side to go straight up, and then this other side I'm going to wrap around. And I like to hold it with my round nose pliers so I can bring that tail around 2 times. 1 and 2. I've got to push those little wraps together, make them tidy. And then I want to trim that wire close, and that's looking great. And now I want to feed on 8 more of these little seed beads, and I really do think it goes faster when you have them in the palm of your hand like this. So I'm going to tip on 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's our 8 seed beads. We're going to bend that around, pretty much just kind of fold it on itself, because as you saw before, we can reshape it into a circle after we match up the ends. So I want to bring that tail around to the beginning. Make sure I don't have too much slack in the wire. I have a little bit of slack in there. Push the beads around. There we go. And you could reach in here and hold this with your pliers, but at this point I think it's a little bit easier to hold it with your fingers, and then bring that tail around and wrap it 2 times like I did before. And then reach in there and trim that wire. And then I want to use the round nose pliers like a mandrel again to make that round. Cute. Now I want to count 4 beads on one side. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where I'm going to put the earring wire, so that the beads sit 4 on each side. I'm going to slide on that little earring wire, 4 and 4, and use the round nose pliers again to close that earring wire up. I sort of over corrected there. There, that's perfect. And that is a beautiful pair of beaded briolette drop earrings.